course, the brookviewclub.com is the site that will be very interactive for members and so forth. And so you can start there. But let me tell your listeners a little bit about the process. If you call in, more often than not, the account managers will be able to take your application on the phone and ask you some very key questions. And the objective is to figure out if you're what we would call loan ready, as we talked about here today. And if you are, they are going to recommend, or they'll put you into the underwriting system for more detailed underwriting, and you'll get a preliminary term sheet from us. And it's very thorough because we don't like late minute surprises and 11th hour changes to deals. And so it's a very thorough point by point term sheet with regard to how our loan process works. Mm-hmm. And so, from there, then you can go out and you could start shopping for deals. And when you have a deal, then obviously we'll take a look at that, and hopefully we can get something done for you, or we'll analyze the deal together because we're partners with that. And in terms of the club, I would say, again, talk to the account managers, and I'm really excited about that because we have webinars that are going on all the time, and we have live education and so much more, and the case studies you mentioned. So same number to call, but there's a lot there.
It sounds really exciting. Well, look, these are very challenging times, but there's a huge amount of opportunity for those who are trained. So, I mean, it's all about the training and having someone looking over your shoulder, keeping you out of the bad deals. So I really appreciate your spending some time with us today and coming in and sharing more about Brookview Financial. Why don't you just, if you don't mind, just share that phone number and websites one more time. I want to make sure our listeners do have this information because I'm sure they'll be very excited.
Sure, I'll be glad to. The toll-free number is 877-734-2211, and the financing website is brookviewfinancial.com, and the club website is brookviewclub.com. And actually, that's a really cool place. You got to check that out.
Yeah.
And
well, let me just share one thing with you. Yesterday, I needed some information, and I remembered that there was a website that was mentioned by Kevin, who's one of our instructors, as you know. And I knew it was on the website, and it was just something I needed, and I couldn't remember. I didn't have it in my notes, but it was just great having that site there because I just went there and I looked it up, and I found it. I needed to provide someone, a lender that I'm working with, some information about a particular neighborhood, and there it was, bam. So it's nice to have. I'd like to think of it as like having a dictionary on your desk. You have the website available just to be able to go back to and just refer back to it. I mean, sure we have our notes, and that's always nice and everything, but to be able to have a concise area where you can go to just obtain information, when you need it, whenever you need it, from wherever you need it.
Right. Well, you're referring to the resource centers that we have there, and you're right. And one thing I have to say, Pat, is that yes, we created this and we created the Brookview Finance Club, but it is a member participating type of club. And whenever we get new information and ideas and so forth, it's your club. It's the listeners' club. It's the people that are members. It's their club. And even with the software and, all the time that we spent with getting that software to, work in your systems and so forth and that you use every day. But still, it's open. We still have developers that are able to make any changes and modifications and so forth. So we're really excited about that. It is a living and breathing organization, and I'm really glad that we're finally able to put this together. So,
well, one thing I noticed when speaking at various seminars is that the old saying is when one person teaches, two people learn. And I've always gained something from working with other investors, especially even newer investors who see things maybe through a new set of eyes. And it's important that this information will be provided on the website as well. So, bringing new information, it's a living, breathing organism where new ideas are going to be constantly added to the site. So I think it's important that, like you had mentioned, it's everyone's website and club, and everyone's participating and providing their information.
I'm really excited about it, and it's a way, quite frankly, to give back over the years of things we've learned and to be able to help people even more. So it's pretty cool.
Well, thank you. Really, it was great having you here today. Just any parting thoughts, any ideas, or anything you can share with us about where the market is, what you kind of sum up what you think the market's doing right now, because I'm sure everyone's very concerned about where things are going.
Okay, well, let's see. Look, we've been doing this for a very, very long time, and we've seen a lot, been through a lot, underwritten, billion plus, and deals and all that. And so, got quite a history behind us. But I can tell you, in terms of this market, what do we see? We see two things. We see both opportunity and we see some challenges. Now, the opportunity, of course, is the supply of houses. And, I hope your listeners pay particular attention to this because, yes, there are lots of homes out there that are vacant. And we've seen the foreclosures, and it's unprecedented, and more is coming. All right, this is not over. More is coming. And we need to understand that vacant houses do not get better. Right? Whether you're a rehabber or you just have an interest in making sure that your communities are improved and so forth, but vacant houses do not get better. And so in this country, we have a challenge, right? And how do we move this inventory and get it through the system? Because one of the things, and I know many people probably know this, but if you have a foreclosure, for example, and maybe it's just that, one house out of 100, okay, but that affected a particular market, that foreclosure now may be 30% or 40% of the transactions that are actually being sold in a particular month or year or what have you, and that affects the overall market. And then when people feel like the value of their homes has dropped and the value of their number one asset has dropped, it affects everything. It affects how you feel about spending. It affects the economy. It's just huge. And so kind of on a macro level, we have a challenge in this country, and we have to move these houses that are vacant. And many of the vacant houses, people don't necessarily, go wax the floors and put in new kitchens before they leave their house, right? And particularly it was an unfortunate situation for a foreclosure. And so a lot of these houses are coming out, and they need work, and it's an obligation. Somebody has to do that and put them back into workable, good quality condition. Most often it's for a first-time home buyer and so forth. And so I say there's opportunity. There's an opportunity and an obligation. I think somebody has to do this and they have to be fixed. There's an opportunity in order to be able to buy these houses from motivated sellers, and many times it's the institutions that are selling them, and they just want to move out and clean off their balance sheets and get their capital ratios back in line. And so from a real estate investor's point of view, it's a tremendous opportunity to buy these houses. Okay, so that's really important. But I also say that there's a challenge, and the challenge is that they have to make sure that they know what they're doing. They have to make sure, as we talked about, that the market in terms of appreciation is not going to save them, that relaxed lending standards are not going to save them if they got into trouble. And now more than ever, you need to be educated, you need to be disciplined, you need to be making sure that you have a system in place to run the business. Hopefully we can provide some guidance in that respect, and at least that's what we set out to do, to kind of be a one-stop shop for really real estate entrepreneurs. And that's the message I think I'd like to leave you all with that today.
Great. It's exciting. It really is exciting times. Okay, AJ, well, thank you very much for being a guest here on the Real Estate Investing Forum. It's been very informational, and I'm sure our listeners have gained quite a bit of information from what you've shared with us today. Okay, everyone, well, I just want to wish you the best of luck in your real estate investing careers, and thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time on Real Estate Investing Forum. I'm Pat Funaro. Have a great day.